This is part one of a four-part tutorial on creating this haunted landscape. In this first part of the tutorial, I'm specifically going to be showing you how to create the haunted house. All the assets of this entire landscape are original. There's no clip art involved here, and everything was created on a Chromebook using the website Photopea. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to Google haunted house. And then I'm going to switch from haunted house all to haunted house images. And then from images, I'm going to switch to tools. And then under type, I can either click clip art or line drawing. These are photos and they're not bad. But I think that I probably need something that's a little bit more simplified. So let me try clip art. These are good, actually. I like these. Okay, so I found this image using clip art. Not bad at all. You click on it, and then what you're going to do is right-click, open image in new tab. And that gives you a new tab with the image in it. And then you just save image as, and I would name it haunted house. Okay. Now you might want to save a few of these. The other thing you can pick is, instead of clip art, you can pick under tools line drawing. That's usually pretty good. So I found this one. I'm going to open it in open image in new tab. And there it is. And I'm going to save image as haunted house 2. Okay, now I'm not allowed to use these images directly. I have to create my own, so I'm just going to use them for inspiration. So I'm going to go to Photopea. I'm going to log in, file, new. Okay, I'm going to go to screen, and I'm going to go to full HD, and I'm going to make my background transparent. Okay, and I'm going to hit create. This is the correct size. I want to make absolutely sure that I create something that's full HD. Because I might want to use this image for something else. I might want to use it for print and not just for screen. I'm going to just make one change. I'm going to go to image size, and I'm going to change the DPI to 300. Okay. Now, let me just take this and make it a little smaller so I can see what's going on. There we go. Now I can see the whole screen. Let me get a little bigger. There we go. Okay, now I can see the whole screen, including the corners. Now, I'm going to do File, Open, and I'm going to go to Date Modified Today, and I'm going to, let me open this one first. Okay. All right, so I'm going to do Select All, Edit, Copy. Oh, let's see. Let me go here. There, I have to be in the correct layer. Select all, edit, copy. Okay, and that copies the house. And I'm going to put it in here, edit, paste. Okay, now you can see it's real small. I'm just going to do edit, transform, scale to make it bigger. And I'll hold the shift key down so that I don't mess up the proportions. Okay, so now I can actually see it. And I'm going to hit the check mark. Okay, now, again, I am not allowed to use this house because that would be a copyright infringement. So I'm only using it as a reference, and I'm going to delete it later. So whatever you do, don't make anything in the same layer as this because this layer will need to be deleted later. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to use the shape tool, and I want to use the rectangle tool. Now I'm going to go to the fill, and I'm going to make the fill empty, okay? For the stroke, I want to pick a color. So I go to the red here, and I'm going to change it to black, and I'm going to click on the black. So that's outlined in white. And that means that it's going to have a black outline and no fill. It's going to be empty. And I'm just going to slide this over to make the lines a little wider. And now I'm going to make a rectangle. And you can see it automatically makes it on the layer above. You can change the stroke to make it a little wider so that I can see it more easily. There you go. And now I'm going to right click, rasterize it. And then I'm going to do edit, transform, warp. Okay. And you can see what I'm doing is I'm trying to make it look a little bit more like the roof in the picture. When I'm satisfied, I'm going to hit the check mark. Okay, and then I'm going to do layer, duplicate layer. Okay, and I'm going to take the bottom one and I'm going to move it just a little bit. Okay, and now I'm going to take the bottom one and I'm going to erase some of it. Okay, anything that's inside, I'm going to erase. I need to make the eraser a lot bigger. I can see it. It's got to be big enough to erase the lines. And anything inside here, I'm going to erase. All right? So, I'm going to now go to the top layer, and I need to make a straight line. So I'm going to go to my brush tool, and I need to make the brush a little bigger so it looks like it matches everything else. That's good. Okay, so I'm going to start here, and then I'm going to hold the shift key and end here. Okay, I'm going to start here, hold the shift key so it makes a straight line and end here. And then I'm going to start here, hold the shift key, make sure it makes a straight line and go here. Now I've got some more erasing to do. And that is, I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to the bottom shape and I'm going to just erase inside here. It's not made of glass, so I can't, I'm not going to be able to see that. And I'm going to erase here because it's not made of glass, so I'm not going to be able to see that. Now, I'm going to go back up to the top layer and actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another layer on top. And I'm going to make a straight line from here to here. So let me click here and hold the shift key and click here. Oh, I'm on the eraser still. Let me go back to the brush. Okay, click here, hold the shift key, click here. Click here, hold the shift key, click here. And now I want to play around with warping this. So edit, transform, warp. Oh, it doesn't look so good. That looks fun. There we go. All right, now again, it's not made of glass, so anything behind here would have to be erased. So I'm going to go back to the shape 1 here, and I'm going to erase. I'm going to erase anything that wouldn't show through the let's go here. There we go. Now, if you want to erase in a straight line, just click and hold the Shift key and click again, and it'll erase in an actual straight line. So, got to figure out what layer everything's in. Eventually, this stuff will be merged, but if I want to erase in a straight line, I click here, and Control Z. I don't want to do that. There we go. Okay. So you see how it's starting to take shape. I need to make another straight line. I'm going to go up to this layer that has the lines in it. And go back to my brush. And I think I'm going to add another layer. Okay. In this new layer, I'm going to start here. And then I'm going to end here. And then I'm going to do Edit, Transform, Warp. All right. Not thrilled with that. It looks too thick. So I'll do Edit, Transform, Warp again. Actually, why don't I do Free Transform, and then I can make it thinner. There you go. And then I can do Edit, Transform, Warp again. And I'm not real thrilled with that, so I can do Edit, Free Transform, and change the angle a little bit. Okay, now I have this part of the house down okay, but the whole thing is a little big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this part, this part, this part, this part, all these parts, and I'm going to combine them. So what you do is you just do merge down, start at the top one, merge down, merge down. Okay, now I'm going to take them and I'm going to do Edit, Transform, Scale. Now, if I want it to all transform in proportion, I would hit the Shift key, but in this case, I don't. I want it to be thinner. Okay, and I want it to be a little shorter. So I don't want to necessarily keep the same proportions. I want it to look more, a little bit more like a tower. Not bad. Okay. Now I want to make a window like this one. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a rectangle. And then I'm going to make a ellipse. Now, if I hold the Shift key, it'll be a perfect circle. And if I hold the Alt key, it will pull out from the middle. So that's what I'm going to do. There we go. There's my ellipse. I'm going to take my ellipse and I'm going to move it down here. Now I'm going to rasterize it. And now I'm going to do some erasing. So if I click here, hold the Shift key and click here, and then click here, I can get the whole bottom of it erased. Now it's a little big for the rectangle, so I think I'm going to go down to the rectangle and I'm going to rasterize that, and then I'm going to do Edit, Free Transform, and we just pull this out so that it's about the right size. And now I'm going to erase the top of it. So let me go to the top, click. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Control Z. Click. No, Control Z. Here we go. Click. And hold the Shift key down and click. Now, I'm going to take this and this. Oh, sorry. And this, these two, and I'm going to merge them. And then I'm going to do Edit, Transform, Warp. And I'm going to start playing around with them to make them look more fun. Oh, I kind of like that. Okay, make this one a little taller here. And I'm going to hit the check mark. And I have a little bit of cleaning up to do. So on the eraser, if I just hold here, hold the Shift key, and hold here, I'll be able to erase in a straight line. Click here, hold the Shift key, click here. There we go. Now I'm going to take my combined shape, my window, and I'm going to try and make the mullions on the window, these straight lines. So let me just take my brush tool. I'm going to click here, and I will hit my Shift key and click here, here, hit the Shift key and click here. And I think I'm going to just do Edit, Free Transform, and see if I can play around with this a little tiny bit. Oh, now, Edit, Transform, Perspective. Sometimes that's fun to do. Yep. And then Edit, Transform, Scale to make it smaller. And then I can do edit, transform, rotate. To make sure it looks right. Okay, and as you can see, I'm just basically gradually building my house. If you want to, you can layer it and combine layers. But the other thing that you can do is you can also take this layer and you can call it tower, and this layer and call it window. And the nice thing about that is that you can take the tower and you can duplicate it. So let me just do layer, duplicate layer. And then you can take the new tower, the copy, and you can do edit, transform, distort, and you can squish it and you can pull it and you can overlap it, and then you can pull it down so it's below the other tower. And then you can erase parts of it. And because it's in a different layer, you're not going to mess up the original tower. Okay, and then you actually can now take the window and you can duplicate that. Duplicate layer. And you can take the window and you can move that. And it's obviously way too big. So now you would do transform, scale. And look, it looks just about right for that part of the house. Now, the nice thing about this method, this technique, is that it's really not going to look exactly like the drawing at all. It's going to look like your own creation. So you're just using the drawing as inspiration, and when you're totally done, you can delete the original drawing. The other thing is if you do file, save as PSD, you're basically going to have a document that has all these different components to it, towers, windows, etc. And you'll be able to come back and use these different pieces again and again and again in your creations. So, you don't have to create that many windows, that many towers, etc. in order to create an actual original haunted house. I hope you tune in for part 2 of this 4-part series to learn how to create the mountain landscape.